Well, good morning, everyone. We're out here hiking through the woods. We're gonna get back in here again, maybe do a little detecting, do a little prospecting. We're kind of in the same area that we were last time. We're gonna head up to that lode mine I wanted to first, or I wanted to go to last time. I didn't get to because we were finding too much gold. And get over there, do a little prospecting, take some pictures, pull some samples. And then I think we're gonna head over to the pizza patch and check that out again, kind of work the outer margins. And then from there, if that's not going well, I got another gulch we're gonna go look at. It's about another half-mile hike the other way, and see how that goes. And if that goes well, then that's where we'll end our day. So we're gonna get in here today and hopefully find some gold. So we'll catch you at the lode mine. All right, here guys, came across the prospect. I'll show you this real quick. You can see the dump pile here. You can see the hole here. You can see how it's kind of squared out. The starter shaft. So they were starting to sink a shaft here. Now, what we can see here doesn't look very deep, maybe 4 or 5 feet. And the amount of rock there would suggest it's maybe a little bit deeper. You know, maybe 10 or 15. Hard to say for sure, but there's definitely some slough, and I can see some voids down under there. So we're not crawling in there, that's for sure. Well, here I didn't make it much further. So there's that prospect pit we were just at. Here's another littler one. You can see all the quartz there on the side of the hole. They didn't dig much here. This is just a little tiny prospect, but some of this quartz looks kind of interesting. Definitely some mineralization in that. So we're just gonna mark this though on the map because I got too much hiking to do and too much weight on my back. All right, guys, we made it to our first shaft here. I was gonna stop and look at this one on the way out, but the way I took the paths in here, this was kind of the easiest way. So here we are, we're standing on the dump. It's just a little shaft, but well, that dump's a little bit bigger than it looked. You can see my gears over there. There's some barrel rings, looks like there. I'll take you over here. Here's the shaft. This is just a little shaft. That's on the south end of the workings. But you can see the vein running there. You can see how they were sinking the shaft running with that. Now there's supposed to be a wider brecciated vein, which I think is this right here. So if we look at that, you can kind of zoom in on that. There's our brecciated vein with a more defined vein on the hanging wall side. And yeah, so this is supposed to run all the way about 500 feet north here to the main workings. So let's look around here and see what we can find on the ground. And we'll maybe pull a sample or two from here. I'm not going to crawl down in there, obviously. I don't have any rigging and I don't have anybody with me. But here's a look at that vein from the other side. Yeah. Here's the dump. Right over here by my backpack, there's a bunch of quartz in the ground. You can see here, quartz all over the ground, and here's those barrel rings. Looks like they were using that to pull their rocks out of there. Hook a rope up to that, pull her out. That's pretty neat. That's a pretty neat piece of old history right there. It's early 1900s. This mine was worked. All right, here, got myself a little sample. Take a look at it here in the bag, the old Menard sack. A little 5-pound sample. Nice red-looking stuff. Right up against the hanging wall side of the quartz seam there. Right up in there is where I took it. Oop. So we'll take that back, we'll crush him up and see what's in it. We'll tag it too, so we know where the sample came from. It's very important that you tag your samples so you know what sample came from where. So yeah, all right, let's get over to the main workings. I don't want to pick up too much rock and have to carry all this back miles and miles. I'm gonna have to hike back yet today. My backpack's already full of water and everything, so yeah, nothing with the detector that really sounded off on that seam either. I kind of ran that over that. So yeah, let's get to it. So here we just got to the main workings. Right here's where the shaft is, but it's filled in, collapsed in there. We'll hike around up on top there and get a better look down into that. But yeah, bummer. I was hoping to see a little bit more here. No, we have more to look around. We just got here. We got a bunch of quartz piled up on the edge of the dump here. We'll swing over some of that and probably grab a couple pieces, throw it in a sack. This stuff doesn't look all that interesting. This stuff here looks a little bit more interesting. Looks a little like there's more mineralization in this stuff here. So we'll take some of that sample back with me. Let's look around. Here's a claim post. You can. Let's see what they left us in the old can here. Any paperwork? Nope. Empty. Bummer. Kind of looks like an old pepper can. Not sure. Put him back. So yeah, let's look around here some more. And there's some more prospect holes going up the hillside there, so we'll maybe look at them and see if we can see a little bit more of a vein structure, because I'm not seeing nothing just from down here. So yeah, we'll hike around here a little bit more, and like I said, we'll pull some samples and get them crushed. And we're really just looking for free milling gold here today. Well, all right, we're up here on top looking down where the shaft's supposed to be. Like I said, it's plugged and filled in on the top here. The shaft was supposed to be about 100 feet deep with a couple different drift levels. There's supposed to be two veins that intersected here. One from the first shaft that we looked at there, that little shaft, and another one that came in from a different direction. There were two different veins that came together, kind of made an X, and crossed right in this area. But I don't see it in the wall rock there, but I definitely see some quartz up here. I'm on the side of this dump where they are, on the side of the trench here where they would have started digging. There's quartz here, and obviously there was quartz down by our backpack. So yeah, anyway, there's a piece of quartz. Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll go look at a few of those prospects over there yet, and like I said, we'll pull some samples and go from there. Yeah, so here we are. We hiked up and looked at those other little prospect holes, and they had some of this dark blue quartz, smoky quartz, and it's been kind of known to produce some gold in our area. So I pulled some of that. I'm going to pull some of this here, swinging the detector, and I had gotten some, got a signal. It was just a little piece of iron. But we're just going to pull some of this soil from this nice mineralized. See, look, right here's another piece of that dark blue quartz. I'm just going to pull some of that. Yeah, let's see. We'll take that all back with us. Pan some of that out. Crush the rest down. And we'll see what's in that. You'll catch me back at the crusher, but for now, I just want to talk a little bit more about this. Like I said, there were two veins that supposedly came together here. Upon sinking the shaft, he came across another narrow quartz vein that supposedly was pretty rich. Had some specimens and stuff. They were claiming $800 per ton. How true it is, I don't know. Yeah, so maybe that's what the little quartz vein, that little blue vein is that I pulled some samples of. The detector didn't hear nothing, so I'm not too excited. We're about 400 or 500 feet up this hillside. I came in from the backside, but down below us, down there's the creek. And they drove at it down there, and they drove it about 1,000 feet trying to intersect this vein that's over here. And upon striking it, they didn't open up a mill. The newspapers kept talking about them wanting to open up a mill. Well, they never did. The owner moved on to a different property and ran that property for about 30 years. So obviously either the values weren't there at the bottom, or the values were just never here at all, and I don't know. So we're going to take some of these samples back and find out, and we'll find out together. Like I said, we'll get you back at home, and we'll get some of this crushed up and pan some of it off, see if there's any gold in it or not. Got some hopes on that other vein over there, and that, like I said, that vein's supposed to be in here. I just don't see it. But that nice red pocket looks pretty good. Looks kind of juicy. So let's hope that one's got some gold in it. If it does, then maybe we can come back and pull a little bit bigger sample and send that off and decide what we're going to do from there. So just want to talk a little bit about this lode mining stuff. I'm pretty new to lode mine. I'm not very good at what to look for yet and what I'm doing all. So it's definitely a learning process for me. And you're going to see that, and you're going to be like, Dan, what are you doing? You left behind the good stuff. Well, point that out to me. And then I can go back and we can see if it is the good stuff. But I kind of like the idea of lode mining in that it's a new challenge. And I get a little bit bored every now and then with placer mining. I know what you're saying, like, Dan, you're finding all this gold. How's that not fun? Well, it is a lot of fun. But some days you just go, yep, finding gold. And it's almost like you feel like you mastered it. And even though I don't think I mastered metal detecting or placer mining by any long stretch of the means, I just want something new to do. So we're trying something new. All right, well, let's go find some nuggets here yet today, and this will be probably 2 separate videos. We'll split up the hard rock side and the detecting side, but you'll see these 2 videos and be like, oh, that one's that big. Ooh, just about fell down. It's a little rough on this hillside here. So anyways, let's go find some nuggets. Hey, all right, you guys, we're back in the garage here. We're all ready to start crushing some rock. Take a look at some of these samples here we pulled. This is from the first shaft there, and some of the quartz that came out of that same. You can see there's some little line of rust running through there, oxidized sulfides. There we go. Yeah, so we're gonna run that through the primary crusher right here and turn those bigger rocks into smaller rocks. Then we'll drag the hammer mill out and turn it into powder. We'll see if there's anything in the sample. So you can see, it's pretty simple here. We put some rocks in, and it works just kind of like a stamp mill. You got this big steel bolt here, and again, the primary crusher, we're just gonna do this. And there we go. Now they're down to a size we can put in the hammer mill. Alright guys, we're ready to start running this through. You can see here we got it all pretty well taken down. Take a look here. There's some in there, it's a little bit big, they're bigger than I'd like. But with such a crude setup as we got in there, gets the job done, and we'll just make it work. So we're gonna run this through and turn it into powder. So there we got it. We got her crushed down. Now we're gonna go get her panned up and see if there's any gold in it. All right, here guys. Just want to show you the inside of the mill here again. Not much has changed in there. You can see we still got the hammers. And yeah, the only things that really changed is we upgraded this from that plastic 3D printed one to one that's made out of pipe and welded together. And then we built a stand for it. And yeah, just kind of getting her together. So we're gonna get this swept out, all this right here. We'll get that all swept out and thrown in the bucket, and then we'll get her panned out. All right, guys, got some of it in the pan. It's not all of it. You can see here, it's pretty fine crush. If there's any gold to pan in there, we'll find it out here. So I'm gonna get her panned and show you the results. All right, we're gonna finish panning this out. I got it roughed down to this, and I got some clean water that we can pan into. So we're gonna finish this up in some nice clean water and see what we find. Now, we didn't take any weights, and we didn't really specify where we took this. I just know where I took it at the shaft. And all we're just looking to see is if there's any free milling gold in it. And if there is, then maybe we'll go back and pull another sample and weigh it and maybe do like an actual channel sample. But until then, I'm just curious if there's even anything in it. So we're getting her down there. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Hey, we got gold. Let me show you. It's very, very small, obviously, because it's been ground up. We're getting ready here to crush up the next sample here. This would be from the kind of main shaft, where I just took kind of a general sample from the dump. Kind of looked like it was maybe where they were piling some of their ore at one time. But I just wanted to kind of explain a little bit better what we're dealing with here. Is we got a, let's set this down here. We got this gold mine, and this is the main shaft here. I just kind of drew this out real quick. And this was the first shaft we were at. And we took that sample down here on that brick shaded zone. There was that quartz vein. I guess you'd say we took it from the quartz vein on the hanging wall side. And that vein runs, for the best part, north and south, maybe just a little bit east to north. And then there's a second vein that intersects it that runs about 30 to 40 degrees off of it, that runs southeast to northwest. And both of those intersected where the main shaft was. Now, the main shaft, as we saw, was caved in very badly, and obviously we couldn't even see any vein structure, so we couldn't really see that for sure. But those blue chunks that are sitting back here on the chair, like this one here, this dark blue quartz, I found a couple pieces of that in one of these trenches up here, actually in both of these trenches here. And there's a line of these trenches that line up like that. So I think the dark blue quartz is coming from that vein, and the other quartz would be coming from this vein right here. All right, here. So we got this all roughed down. I panned it, roughed it down to this amount right here in that tub. And then now we're going to pan it again in the pan here where I got some nice clean water. First, I'm going to kind of clean this up a little bit. So we're going to get all those sediments in there. We're going to work it into the corner. We're not going to really pan anything off, but we're just going to take that dirty water, pour it off so we can see what we're doing in here. And before I forget, I'm going to add a couple drips of Jet Dry. And we're going to do it again here. I'm going to clean this all up. See how dirty that water gets. I'm going to take that water and let's work it into the corner. And let's pour that dirty water off. Alright, I'm happy with that. Let's finish panning this down. Suppose you all think it's pretty funny finally seeing me use a gold pan, being that I'm gold pan Dan. I know, all I do is go metal detecting. Well, alrighty. Now, when we, between samples, I take the air compressor and I blow out the impact mill and I blow out the primary crusher that I got there, and the pans, they all get washed out with water. So hopefully there's very little cross-contamination between samples. Alright, let's look here. Do some tapping. Let's see if we got any gold in this sample. Not looking good. Not looking good. I think we'll look under the loop. I might kind of do it one more time and we'll look under the loop, but I'm not seeing anything right away. So that's not encouraging. But... All right, guys, here. I lied. There is a little bit of gold in there. It is pretty tough to see, though. And in fact, you're probably not going to see it at all. Let me try zooming in a little. It's really fine. But there's a little bit up in there. We'll put this under the microscope again and get a better look at it, and we'll get her snuffered up. So, yeah, I mean, it's not as coarse as the other gold, and not as much there, but there's still a little bit there, so it's a little bit more encouraging. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this video. As you saw, we got a little bit of gold out of that, and I was a little bit surprised, actually, and so that's good. So I think we'll be heading back to that mine again and doing a little bit more sampling, at least in the one shaft there. That'll probably be this spring or summer, so we'll get out there and pull some more samples. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you want to see some more videos and see me go back to that mine again, hit the subscribe button so you can see when that one comes up. But until next time, folks, keep your bits sharp. Take care now.